Well, I try to avoid cliches for a start. If I see a cliche coming over the horizon, then I shoot it down. I don't want cliches. I think cliches make for second class stories. And I've got a real aversion. I've read crime all my life, so I'm aware of the genre and I'm aware of the form, and I just don't need to see one more depressed Scandinavian detective looking into his scotch at the end of the day and thinking how life is meaningless and where I'm just not interested in that. You have to honour the form, you have to honour the genre, you have to show the readers that you understand the conventions, but at the same time you really need to bring something fresh to it. If I see a cliche, I try to swerve it. And I think that's a good rule. I think it's the number one rule for writing, really.
So back to the book and movies. We were talking about Sam Anderson. Is there a possibility to
I like the idea of the victims being rich and powerful men. Because I'm a big fan of Scandinavian. A lot of great Scandinavian, especially TV. I think more than books. But it's usually a great-looking young woman running through a woods in a nightdress, very skimpy nightdress. It kind of happens quite a lot. And I like the idea. I felt that there was a real hatred towards bankers and politicians and establishment figures of all kind, journalists, lawyers, but especially bankers, especially the money men. Who can mess up our lives by their own greed. They can destroy the lives of innocent, ordinary working people. So I quite like the idea of bankers having their throats cut. And I thought maybe it could have worked. You'd just have bankers, but it wouldn't really. It would feel too much like a cliche because it would seem unlikely that 7 boys that were at school together all grew up to be bankers.
Yeah, but when you're talking about that, you have to have in mind that you're coming.
Yeah, I come from a working class background, but I've been a journalist for nearly 40 years. So, I come from a working class background, but my life has been very different to my father's life. My father spent a lifetime working in low paid work. My life is not like that. I live in a very privileged existence. This feels like a story of today. That these rich men are being attacked. They're the victims, not innocent people. They're not innocent, and maybe the killer is not really evil. Maybe he's doing it for some kind of righteous reason. The story is God. The story is God, and my personal experiences, or my background, or my political views, or what's happening in the world, everything serves the story. Everything is a slave to that. What matters is that I tell the best story. And so you can use something that's true, you can use something that's completely invented, and it doesn't matter as long as the story's a good story that will grip people. I wanted it to be a bit warmer and have a bit more emotional content than the average crime story, because I think that they can be, although I'm a fan of crime fiction, even great crime fiction can feel a little cold, because it has to move along, it has to be a frenetic pace, and traditionally crime writers have not dealt with a lot of emotion, and I want it to be a little bit different. And I like the man alone figures. There's a lot of detectives and the classic ones are completely alone, and like Philip Marlowe, Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe, and Lee Charles, Jack Reacher. But I actually wanted my guy not to be a man alone. I didn't want him to be a domestic creature. I didn't want him to be married. I didn't want him to have a wife back home. I wanted him to be open. I'm hoping that he's going to have a very busy and active sex life, Max Wolf. I'm hoping there's going to be lots of lovely girls that he meets over the next 10 books. But at the same time, I wanted him to be grounded in family, and I wanted him to be rooted in family responsibility, and I wanted him to be like a human, three-dimensional character. And I think the way to do that was give him a little girl to look after.